All right, let's start with our breaking news now. Just moments ago, of course, the DA leader, Mmusi Maimane, as well as the DA's Athol Trollip resigning. Their SABC reporter, Natasha Phiri, has been at the DA headquarters in Bruma all day today. She joins us live now. Very good evening to you, Natasha. Thanks for your time. After hours and hours of speculation, now it seems like there'd been a lot of negotiations that were happening behind the scenes. The DA leader, Mmusi Maimane, is gone.
Definitely, Crisalden, it seems as if those negotiations actually fell short because, as you correctly say, Mmusi Maimane is gone as a DA leader, but the DA has actually dealt with another blow. The federal chairperson, Athol Trollip, has also left, and this is a person that was actually considered to take over from Maimane. But I'm actually joined by the party's spokesperson, Solly Malatsi, who will actually talk us through what actually happens from now on. Quite a tense briefing. I mean, you're visibly emotional yourself. Solly, what happens from now on? I mean, Mmusi Maimane is out as a DA leader. Federal chairperson Athol Trollip has followed suit. Who will now replace Mmusi Maimane?
So in terms of the constitution, right, when a leader resigns, the next person to take charge is the federal chairperson. In this case, you have an extraordinary development where the federal chairperson has also resigned. Our constitution was not designed in such a way that it anticipated the eventuality of having both the leader and the federal council chair and the federal chairperson resigning at the same time. It is for that purpose that tomorrow morning there is an urgent federal executive telecon where we will be getting legal advice about how to best navigate the process of the interim leader until the next Congress, because we have to be, there is a gap in our constitution, so we have to find legal clarity on it so that whatever process emerges in the journey to have an interim leader is consistent with our constitution. We are operating in a space of a constitutional vacuum on an issue that we hadn't anticipated, nor the founders of the organization anticipated. So tomorrow we'll have an update in terms of the steps we will be taking going forward with regard to the question of who gets to lead the party between now and federal Congress that we are aiming to host early next year.
And as you say, Helen Zille had said that FedEx members did not actually anticipate this. There were talks with Mmusi Maimane and Athol Trollip to actually stay, but they then decided for their sakes, the DA is not the right party to carry on their vision. And of course, they left. Talk us through that robust, engagements and those tense engagements that actually happened.
Yeah, well, they didn't quite actually say the words you are saying, but what happened is that they both expressed their intention to step down from their position. And as you can imagine, this is a big decision. It has a big impact on the organization. So there was a concerted attempt from the room, in terms of the federal leadership that was in there, to persuade them to rather stay until the next Congress. And that is part of the reason why today's deliberations took long and you guys had to wait for the amount of time that you waited. And as you can imagine, any attempt to persuade individuals to reconsider, particularly a decision of this magnitude, requires that they also then need to go back to their families, to their friends, to consult, because again, this is a big decision to take. So there was a break in between to give them the opportunity to engage their families, and they reverted back and felt that their initial position was still the right one, and we accepted that. We accepted it with reluctance, but both have served the organization so well that at this stage where we are now, we can only but pay tribute to the dedication they have displayed to the organization and the dignified manner in which they have both handled the news about their resignation. And you heard from their comments also in terms of their commitment to the mission, and also from the leader side in terms of extending that offer and willingness to help the organization until the end of the year.
So I must ask though, does this not cast aspersions or perception that, there's been this talk about transformation within the party. Helen Zille was seen as a person who can't actually let black leaders lead. Mmusi has just stepped down. We saw him in Mashaba on Monday, the likes of Lindiwe Mazibuko. How will the DA now deal with this perception that's out there in the public?
Well, it was under Helen Zille's leadership that we had a black parliamentary leader in the form of Lindiwe Masibuko, and it was under Helen Zille that Mmusi Maimane became the national spokesperson of the party and ultimately the leader of the party. So I think let's deal with the issues that are at play here. We have had the federal leader of the organization and the federal chairperson of the organization expressing that given the discussions that has been taking place in terms of the review and its recommendations and to provide opportunity for a new leadership to emerge, that they felt it was the right step to then do that. There are plenty of black leaders in the organization, many of whom serve in the Federal Executive Council, many of whom are represented in the Federal Council, and many of whom continue to occupy senior roles in the organization across different structures. We are dealing here with two individual decisions, the same by two prominent leaders who are responding to the developments in the organization. And I think it is fair to take it for what it is.
So in terms of, provincial structures, we know that Maimane had his allies in those positions. Have you heard of any word of other leaders actually following suit?
Come again?
So Mmusi Maimane's allies are in your provincial structures. He's got their backings, right? Have you heard any word of them saying that if Maimane goes, they will follow suit?
There hasn't been any question about ifs. We dealt with two questions that were surrounding the expressions by the leader and the federal chairperson to step down, and those are the individuals that have indicated that they will be stepping down today. Nobody else in that room indicated that they would be taking a decision along those lines.
The issue about Herman Mashaba, any way forward with that?
So with regards to the city of Johannesburg and the mayor of Johannesburg, the party has a constitution in terms of what are the steps to follow when a member has expressed their intention in terms of resigning. So the party will be handling that, but there will also be engagements with the mayor about how to manage the transition. And tomorrow FedEx will also provide direction with regards to all these related developments, because we'll have an urgent federal executive telecon to deal, as I said from the beginning, with managing the transition in between Mmusi stepping down and having an interim leader that then takes the reins until the next Congress.
Okay, so let me not keep you. I know you've got a flight to catch, and thank you so much for availing yourself. Of course, Criselda, Francis, there you have it. Mmusi Maimane and, of course, Athol Trollip are no more. Of course, as we've heard there from the Federal Council Chairperson, Helen Zille, saying that they will be consulting with their lawyers tomorrow to see that who will actually replace Mmusi Maimane, because according to the DA's constitution, once a party leader steps down or vacates his office, the federal chairperson then takes over. But seeing that the federal chairperson, Athol Trollip, has also stepped down, it somewhat leaves the party in a conundrum. So it'll be quite interesting to see what steps or what measures the party takes from now on moving forward. But of course, the DA somewhat dealt with a huge blow with Mmusi's departure, and of course, Athol Trollip. Back to you in studio.
Natasha, just before you leave, already there's talk now about what this does to the Democratic Alliance. You've got those leaders who seemingly wanted to bring transformation to the Democratic Alliance deciding to leave, and some of those on the sidelines indicating that this is all because of the return of Helen Zille. Just talk to us a bit about what impact this will have for the Democratic Alliance going forward.
Definitely, Criselda, would have a huge impact on the DA. We've just seen a huge dynamic shift. This is the biggest opposition party in South Africa. But what does it mean if the leader, Mmusi Maimane, who envisions a one South Africa for all, and Athol Trollip, who actually shares the same view, actually leave? Earlier on, we spoke to analysts, not only today, but yesterday, saying that there could be, a division between the DA, between the old guard versus the new guard. And of course, this could also impact the DA going to the polls, Criselda, as of now. The future of Johannesburg Metro actually hangs in the balance with Mashaba's resignation, and now with Mmusi Maimane stepping down as party leader. What does this actually translate to, for the party? The DA itself was dealt a blow earlier on in the May elections. We saw the same trajectory falling down to the by-elections where they lost, I beg your pardon, key strategic wards. So I mean, moving forward, be quite interesting to see what actually happens. I guess we'll have to also wait for next year as the elective Congress will take place, and of course their policy conference will take place. Will the DA actually remain the same? I mean, taking you through Twitter and various sentiments, some saying, DA Aisafani, this is not the DA that actually envisioned a One South Africa for all. Some even saying that the old gods of the DA had actually now won the DA over. So quite interesting times, Criselda, here, within the DA, within the party, and moving forward, be quite interesting to see whether the party will charter that same vision of a One South Africa for all.
Yeah. Just before I let you go again then, Natasha, obviously, you have the federal chair who's also gone, but I mean, if you look at, for example, what was contained in that review panel, a project that had been basically tabled at the DA FedEx, you have a situation where Mmusi Maimane seemed to have been blamed for the decline in the votes in the last election. So there seems to be somewhat an appeasing that's taking place. We see Athol Trollip, who has also left now. But I know you spoke to Solly Malatsi a bit about this. Is there anything that you're hearing on the ground now about whether others will follow suit? Any other leaders within the Democratic Alliance?
Well, definitely, Criselda. I mean, that was the whole, issue. We had DA insiders saying that they only recognize, Mmusi Maimane as their leader, and if Mmusi goes, they so will go. But of course, we heard Solly here dispelling and putting cold water over those rumors, saying that Mmusi Maimane and Athol Trollip had actually left on their own accord as individuals, and nobody had indicated within the party that they would be leaving. But quite interesting times. You do have close allies of Maimane who are firm and stern supporters of him. I mean, you also heard yourself, Criselda, Mmusi Maimane saying that this is not the end of him in politics. Whether or not if he'll start a political party, we still have to wait and see for that. But of course, the DA, we do expect quite a major shift there, in terms of probably members actually leaving the party, but also taking you back to the organizational report. Now, it is confirmed that all three leaders, that were mentioned in that report, being James Self, being Paul Bao, being Mmusi Maimane, have now vacated their positions. Of course, that report had recommended that Mmusi Maimane step down as a DA party leader and take responsibility. We heard Athol Trollip not so long ago saying that he found that report quite scathing and unfair for Mmusi Maimane. So, I mean, these are just very interesting developments, and of course we'll just have to wait and see. Tomorrow, let me just remind you and the viewers, the FedEx, I beg your pardon, the Federal Council Chairperson Helen Nzela will be in consultation with the party's lawyers as to chart a way forward, who the new interim possibly party leader could be, seeing that both the party leader and federal chairperson has actually stepped down. But I know, I mean, this decision has now dealt a blow within the Democratic Alliance. Will it be the Democratic Alliance that we've always known before, or will they be actually, a new one?
Well, Natasha Phiri live was there from Bruma after that announcement. Much awaited, of course, the resignation as DA party leader, Mmusi Maimane there, as well as the chair, Athol Trollip, and we're getting much more reaction to that front.